What going YouTube, man? It's your boy J Smalls. I'm coming at y'all boys with another video, man. And today, as y'all can see, we're reacting to everything you missed in the CFB 26 reveal trailer by Eric Mayweather. Now, Eric Mayweather always, you know what I'm saying, be doing these kind of videos whenever Madden or NCAA be coming out. My boy be dropping the gems that, you know what I'm saying. I know I didn't catch a whole lot. Knowing me, bro, sometimes it's like when I turn on the camera sometimes, bro, I just don't catch certain things for some reason. It's like I'm just so hyper focused, but I'm not really like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's kind of weird. But if you guys do been clicking on this video, I truly do appreciate you for watching. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you're having a fantastic and incredible day. Shout out to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for allowing me to be here, allowing y'all to be here, and just everything is done for us. Truly, thank you, Jesus. But with all that being said, without further ado, man, let's see. What did I miss, man? Give it up!
The highly anticipated trailer for College Football 26 dropped a few days ago. I'm finally home from Orlando, so let's take a closer look at the trailer. Let's point out some specifics, and as the days go on, we're going to be able to talk a lot more.
I'm about to go crazy on this game, bro. I ain't gonna lie. We dropping a whole bunch of Madden and NCAA videos, bro. Be prepared for that. A whole lot.
This game, they did kind of tell us to not get too specific on some of the things we saw just yet because they kind of want us to wait for the deep dives. However, I've seen writers putting stuff out. There's even been some people that have tweeted stuff, so I will comment on some little
but the stadium introduction are so fire, bro. I'm not trying to talk over him. So fire.
And to try to listen, I don't want to speak on things if they don't want me to speak on them just yet, but just know that pretty much every week leading up to this game, and even Madden for that fact, if you're interested in
when
Madden,
does this game come out? Hold on, let me see.
Dive like every week on a different part of either of those.
Oh, it comes out on the 7th of June. No, July. So we got roughly about a month and a day. All right, bet.
Info to be covering over the next month to 2 months. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe with the bell icon on so you don't miss those important
Y'all gonna be grinding this game or
getting
what?
A ton of it flooding, you know, pretty much daily at this point. Also, another thing that was just surprisingly revealed on Twitter a few days ago is not only is there going to be a beta for Madden, which we did expect, although we haven't seen any signups for it yet, there's also going to be a beta for College 26, which I was not expecting.
A beta?
Apparently, some of the VIP...
Here are the eligible cons for beta. PS5. Yo! When is the last time these boys had a beta, bro? I can't remember, bro. Thanks for being part of the VIP community. We can't wait for you to play Next Evolution. When the beta start. Oh, never mind. They do these things. Aren't they handpicked, though? I don't know.
People for both games. I don't really know what VIP means. I guess maybe people that have just spent a lot of time on the game. I don't know. People have been posting emails saying that they are eligible for the beta for College and Madden 26. It said, keep an eye on your inbox when the betas start and get ready to hit the field early. So definitely be checking your email. Why can't everybody just be eligible, bro? Why do you have to play the game a certain amount of times or a certain amount of hours just to play beta, bro? What are we talking about pretty soon, because a College 26 beta is going to be coming sometime soon. I'm not sure if they're going to give me copies to give away. Usually with betas they do, so if you want to follow me on my social medias on screen, if I do get them to give away, that's where I will be doing it. That is the easiest place for me to do it. That way it just appears that they're going to be giving them to people that have maybe just played the game a lot and maybe giving some away if I had to guess. So let's take a look at the trailer. Obviously the first thing you kind of saw in the trailer and throughout are the light shows, the drone shows for home team. So they just added a little bit more presentation there. Nothing really crazy, but any little bit of presentation that they're going to tack onto the game, you know, every year adding a little bit more here and there. You know, I think all of us will take that. It just makes the game better and better each time, adding those little details onto the game. Now, when they had Clemson running off the bus...
And that's another thing I noticed about video games, bro. Sometimes, bro, the people who make video games, they don't understand. If you do all the small things, bro, like all the little small things and little small details and the little small cool stuff, bro, that makes the game far much better. At least like 50 times better, bro. And I know I'm reacting to an NCAA video. Madden needs to do it too. But 2K, that's another problem with 2K. They do not care about, they just don't care about us as a whole, but they don't have all the little details that they used to have back in the old days. They do not got that no more. The little cool stuff be like, dang, that's fire, blah, blah, blah. That's what makes video games a whole lot better. I don't understand why the makers of these video games, they don't do that. It's like they don't do that for a reason. Now, NCAA, obviously, I understand why they don't do it, because they keep certain stuff out so they can just make it new and fresh in the next one. But
I saw a lot of people thinking this was stupid because they said, well, players don't get off the bus in full pads. Well, Clemson does before the game. This is a Clemson thing. And they're
whoever said that, bro, you obviously
just thought that was kind of funny, but, you know, that is a real thing they do. Another thing that they kind of focused on in this trailer is you see, you know, real coaches and stuff like that. We know that they're going to be in the game. Now, one thing I do know is that it's not going to be every single coach, but that's just simply because some coaches coaches don't want to be in the game. I think most of them are because they even said on their site they have over 300, and that's going to include, I'm guessing, coordinators and stuff like that as well because there's only 136 teams, so do the math. But just as an example, Bill Belichick was never in Madden. He never wanted to be, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's not in this game either. I don't know why he would change his mind all of a sudden. So most of the coaches should be there, but there's always those few that just don't want to be in the game or don't want to work with EA for whatever reason. Another thing I saw people note at parts of the video is it looks like the spats.
Like, dog, I ain't gonna lie. This be blowing me. Do you see Arch Manning right here? Bro, the graphics look key. I ain't gonna lie. All that's fire. But some of these quarterbacks, player models, especially last NCAA, y'all know what I'm talking about. Why the heck does Arch Manning look like he got a beer belly or a lean gut, bro? Obviously, I know he got the little pad. You know what I'm saying? The little, I forgot whatever pad that called, but still, his body just does not look right, bro. I remember I was on IG yesterday, and I saw like a side-to-side comparison of Nico, the quarterback who used to play for Tennessee, of him in the game, him in real life, Arch Manning in the game, Arch Manning in real life, and there was another quarterback and them in real life. Why do they make these quarterbacks look so thick and chunky? We all know Nico Imeava is like skinny, bro. He's like this. In NCAA, they got him all stocky, looking like he got a little, like he a little big or something. And Arch Manning looked like he got a beer belly. Yo, can we please fix that, bro? Like, we got to get these player models right, bro. Come on.
Cleats are not as crazy as they had been in years past. They tend to be pretty thick on the cleats, and a lot of people don't like that. So it looks like maybe they've added some slimmer options there. But as far as equipment goes, I will say I didn't really notice a lot of new equipment in the trailer. It doesn't mean that there's not going to be some there, but just nothing that really stood out to me, like hanging mouthpieces, for example. We also got a glimpse at some high school. It really stood out to me, like hanging mouthpieces, for example. Okay, we also got a glimpse at some high school that we know is going to be in the game. We're seeing, you know, kind of a generic stadium, which I also think that could mean we can get some generic stadiums now for Team Builder, which would be pretty cool. Definitely want a stadium creator at some point, but I think at least generic is better than having to use other school stadiums, which we had to do last year. And it seems like on this trailer, much like last year, they did focus on a lot of the pregame and traditions. So what we're kind of seeing here, if this is the first year playing, or you didn't notice some of this last year, they definitely added more like signature runouts for teams. Because last year they had a bunch for the big teams, but there were others that were still a little generic. So you could see more runouts, more mascots that weren't in the game.
That's why I care about the Sandman, bro. Sandman be going crazy. I don't make Virginia Tech. I'm finna have their stadium posts going crazy out the roof, baby.
You're seeing like the Texas Tech run out. You're also seeing more band formations on the field. Now, I know that Ohio State had it last year. I don't really think any other team had it, not that I can remember, but you notice in the trailer they're showing some more of that.
Have the team for Tennessee, bro.
Site, so expect to see a lot more involvement from the band, seeing those different band formations, whether it's, you know, at halftime or whatever the case may be, maybe before the game, depending on how they do it. Obviously, Enter Sandman was in the trailer, so I mean that's a pretty big get. We wanted that last year. We know we had it this year. I think they even also mentioned it on their site. But expect other music in the game this year, quite a bit more. Last year, I think they had like maybe 4 to 5 licensed songs, which was cool. I mean, I'll take anything we can get in that department because I know that licensing music is not always easy. Sometimes
I don't understand why all that is just so much money. Trouble,
sometimes
bro.
It's just a thing where they don't want to be
like, bro. Why can't we put your song in
a
video games? Like, you getting boosted regardless. I don't get that.
Don't license their music out as much. But it looks like this year we got a lot more. In fact, somebody put out some information on this, and I didn't really want to speak on it because I thought this was like kind of like more of a big surprise thing, but I've seen multiple people now put this info out, so it's really not news anymore. But in one article it said, speaking of real songs, Enter Sandman for Virginia Tech was the big one as evident in the trailer, but it also
Mr. Brightside, Seven Nation Army, Fiend, I'm shipping them to Boston, and Notre Dame 2001 in space. I love what I'm seeing here. Now, if I'm getting whooped in NCAA and I hear Fiend blasting through my headphones, bro, my monitor, bro, I'm punching my TV screen. See, I like how they add all these new songs, but if I'm losing and I hear some of these songs, bro, we're gonna have a problem. Especially the dude in game chat is talking trash on top of that, or I'm playing against somebody at my crib and Fiend start playing and he start talking trash on top of that after I'm already getting whooped. All right. Now this is going to escalate. I'm not going for that. All right. So I'm just saying, EA, don't be doing none of that, bro. You can do that when I'm winning. But if I'm losing, twin, nah. Don't be playing these music, bro.
Mr. Brightside in Michigan, bro. Seven Nation Army, Fiend by Travis Scott, I'm Shipping Up to Boston at Notre Dame, and 2001: A Space Odyssey for South Carolina's intro, among others. I think there are even more than this that were added to the game, and I believe like the bands and stuff like that will also be playing along these songs at times, so it might not be like the song itself, but it's the band version of the song in some situations, and the crowd will sing along to it. So, I mean, just kind of upping the presentation. We're seeing like some of that displayed in the trailer, but some people have put that info out. I think people will be excited for that because it's just, you know, if you're a fan of Michigan and you hear Mr. Brightside, I mean, how does that not get you hyped? Like, that's how it feels when you go to the game. So cool that they're adding more of that into the game, because that was maybe one area where we thought, hey, maybe we can get some more of these songs and things over the years. I did notice also like a decent little bit of military stuff shown in the trailer. So, you know, we had some involvement with that last year. Maybe they're hinting here at some more involvement with that this year because they kind of made it, you know, a decent little part of the trailer in some spots. Obviously, we got to look at some of the mascots that are now in the game again.
They added new mascots, right? Because some of these mascots, unless I'm just never used or seen these schools in my life, they didn't have these mascots. So that's one thing I noticed too. Now,
then we get to some gameplay stuff, and one thing I've realized with EA over the years is when they're showing you something in the trailer, it's something they want you to pay attention to. And sometimes things can just look like the same from last year, or it could look like just another animation that they're just kind of throwing in there. Maybe one that you think you've seen before, maybe one that you even have seen before.
No, I for sure have.
Especially with college the last couple of years, when they're showing you certain clips, to me that means they want you to focus on what this actually means. So when you see Bryce Underwood break, you know, this tackle,
the little spin off, bro, I ain't gonna lie. Somebody hit. If I'm finna sack somebody and they hit that on me, bro, I'm raging.
He spins out of it. It's one of two things. It's either just a canned animation, like a scripted animation that plays at random, or it's something you can actually do. And when it comes to the college team especially, if they're showing you something, I'm kind of repeating myself a bit here, but if they're showing you this, probably means that it's something you can actually do yourself. So we know in the past you've been able to have ball carrier moves behind the line of scrimmage. Some years they put it in, some years they've taken it out because they try to change the system up a little bit, and either that or people just weren't using it. But if I'm looking at this, I'm saying that's something they want us to see, and then immediately you go into the catch. Not sure if that's a new catch animation completely, but they show them reaching out for the pylon.
Or maybe the diving.
Another clip or two in here where they're showing a player reach out the ball. That's something you can do in the game. It's triggered automatically, but they're showing it quite often in this trailer for the limited gameplay clips that they show. Probably something to pay attention to.
I like how he's fighting. This is a quarter. I'm pretty sure this is a quarterback. You see how he's actually fighting to get in the end zone, bro? WEA on this half, bro. I ain't gonna lie, because I hate whenever like they tackle and the players just don't fight. It's like they just give up, bro. But he's actually fighting to get in the end zone, and this is a quarterback, bro. Now, this is good, but if you go against like a cheesy quarterback, bro, you know what I'm saying, like a quarterback like how Jalen Milroe was last year and this year, bro, then this gonna be a little annoying. But I like that, though. I like what I'm seeing right
Think about what that could possibly mean. So now we're moving on. You're seeing a lot of hits. We do know that they kind of added the physics system to the game. They set it on their site. Boom Tech and Madden last year, there were good parts of it. There were parts that were still a little janky. And I've covered EA for so many years now, and one thing that's always been evident, anytime they do anything big with gameplay, whether it be physics, it's a throwing system, a movement system, always better in year two, always way better in year two. Year one, it'll be okay, maybe it'll be awful, but it's usually never great in year one. It's usually kind of the beginning stages. Year two, it's always way more polished. So a good time for it to come to college is in year two, because it's definitely going to be a lot more polished. And I don't think it's exactly one-to-one to how it was in Madden. There's definitely some tweaks to it there, but that's why they're kind of showing some of the big hits and the tackles in the trailer. Another thing we saw a lot of in this trailer was turnover celebrations. Now, we had a decent amount of those in the game last year, but just judging
that's got to be one of the dumbest celebrations ever, brother. Tired, bro. That's funny.
A ton of new ones. We see Rice, we see Georgia, the unique one here for Arizona where they stab the ball after the turnover. So they take the ball from you and they stab the ball. They pretty much kill it like it's theirs now. And you'll notice when they're doing their celebration here, there's two balls on the sword and they're stabbing the third one, and that's something that's unique to what they do. Every time they get a turnover, they just kind of add the ball onto the sword. So I think probably
I'm not recognizing
the most unique turnover celebration in college football, and that's now in the game along with a bunch of others. So like I said, last year we had a decent amount, but they've added more on this year, which is pretty cool. You know, then they're showing some more Arch Manning gameplay, of course. They're showing some new plays, which I assume they're new plays because they've added, I don't know, over 2,700 new plays to the game. So they're kind of just showing us,
bro. Never mind.
there, but kind of one of those things. It doesn't really mean much until you play yourself because you can't even really see what the full play even is. But they're definitely just kind of showing you some of that with the motion, showing more tackles, more reaching out again for the ball, showing some DB play. They did mention that defense would be improved for the DB play this year. That they attack the ball more if their eyes are on it.
DBs be acting a little slow sometimes,
bro. In college football, doing just that. And here was one of the more interesting things in the trailer because we didn't have this last year when they're showing the QB here kind of grabbing at his shoulder, winding it up. And they also mentioned on the site that wear and tear is going to be, even bigger this year than it was last year. To me, this looks like wear and tear actual animations now, which I think super cool because wear and tear.
See, like this is the small details I'm talking about, bro. Details like this, it just makes the game feel like more realistic, more like you're in the game. Now, as far as wear and tear part, last year, how did y'all feel about the wear and tear last year? I mean, I was pretty smooth with it for the most part, I think. I don't really have no huge problems. Now, I know in Dynasty they said wear and tear is going to be more of like a long-lasting thing, like an actual whole season thing, so to make it a little bit more realistic. So that's pretty fire in a sense. Now, obviously, if you don't want it, you can just turn it off, but that's pretty fire. You're making it more realistic. These animations make it even better, baby.
Thing that they added to the game. That's something that football games had been missing because it's such a real component to real life. But now if they're adding animations to that, so say your QB's shoulder's hurting, or you have a running QB and he tweaks his ankle and he's kind of kicking around.
That's kind of fire though, because if you're on the opposite team and you see like his quarterback doing this right here, you gonna know like, all right, that wear and tear is starting to get on him. Wait, or can you see it on the opposite team? I don't know.
Same for a receiver moving certain body parts, or a running back moving certain body parts. That's cool because not only is wear and tear an actual thing, but you're visually seeing it on the field now. You're seeing players, kind of playing through that pain, which is cool. Another shot that is, I think, super important is when they show this broadcast cam and you're seeing the Oregon players and how they're moving around and all this stuff. That was something that was added to Madden last year, and it makes the game look so much more realistic. And I was like, why isn't this in college? I thought that was kind of weird that they added it to only Madden. So when you're playing the game now, whether you're watching from the side or you're just using a regular Madden cam that you normally use, you're going to see the players pre-play talking to each other on defense, moving their hands, doing hand signals. You're going to see, cornerbacks starting to kind of drift back a little bit into their stance or come up into their stance if they're pressing. Pre-play, you're seeing them communicate and move around. And honestly, a small thing that just makes the game look more realistic because typically they just kind of break the huddle and just stand completely still. And it's not something that really matters until you see it done the other way and you realize, oh, this looks so much cleaner. This actually small detail. More like I'm watching a real game. So glad that they have added that. If you didn't play Madden, this is something you're unfamiliar with, but this was in Madden. Glad to see that they added to the game.
I remember last year I was so against buying Madden, even though I legit buy and play Madden for a long time every single year. And obviously, I think like maybe 2 months in, I had to get Madden, bro. I had no choice.
Coaches, right? So we talked about coaches being in the game, but notice what they're wearing. All the coaches were pretty generic in both Madden and college. They would just kind of all wear the same things or one of two things, and that was a big talking point. Was why don't the coaches wear what they wear in real life? Obviously, we didn't have the real coaches in college, but still,
that's probably too much work.
The generic ones kind of mimic those coaches a little better, or just for your own created coaches. Why don't we have more gear? Well, just look at the trailer, look what coaches are wearing, and just think about that for a second. Might be a lot more coach customization this year. And then it just kind of ends off with the cover boys doing some crazy plays, some new animations. They're also showing a lot of trophies. Remember that last year, all the physical rivalry trophies were not in the game. We're seeing some of them here. We're going to probably have a lot more trophies in the game, and we do know Trophy Case is actually in the game as well, so I think that's kind of a double play right there. We're going to be having a ton of info.
Hopefully jump balls are more of a thing, even though it will be annoying if like somebody just kept snagging jump balls, bro. That would be fire. Like play like Jemiah Smith or something like that, bro. If they have a DB that can't mess with them, bro, come on, bro. I should be able to lob that John up. I'm not saying 100%, but I should be able to lob that John up, bro. Come on.
Ridiculous amount that's going to be flooding very soon for both games, so you're not going to want to miss it. If you want to know all of the early details for College Football 25, make sure to check out this video right here on the screen.
Hey, hold on. Says the end of the video. I already did react to this, John, by the way, if you didn't want to see. You know what I'm saying? But if you did say on to the end of the video, I truly do appreciate you for watching. So hopefully you have a blessed and fantastic day in Jesus' name, and if there's in Jesus' name, and then there's anything y'all boys want me to react to, just let me know. Love y'all boys, man. Love y'all boys, man. To have a good one, man. I'm gonna see y'all boys the next one, man.